Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. Happy Friday to you. It is another wonderful week that we've gone through. And we are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. And in doing so, we are going to really reprogram our own internal monologue. So, good morning, Grant. Good morning, Dennis. It is fantastic to see you guys here today. Anyway, we're going to be working with one of my I am cards. These I am cards are all full of positive, empowering statements that allow us to really speak truth into our own lives. And this being Friday, what I'm going to do today is actually go through all of the cards of the week. So we're going to go through today's card, and then we are also going to go through the cards from the rest of the week and really just look at the story of how our week shook out. Good morning, Brenda Jean. Good morning, Shauna. It is really good to see you guys, you ladies, also here on the Wake Up Call. So yeah, happy Friday to you. I'm going to ask you guys if you are the affirmation on the card, and like always, I'd like you to say, "I am that affirmation." As we speak these things out loud, we literally speak life into ourselves. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Janet. It is good to see you ladies here as well. So let's have some fun. Let's say some good stuff about us. And then let's get onto our Friday and make it an absolutely awesome one. So this card today is I am thriving. I am thriving. I flourish and grow in my environment. So I am thriving. I flourish and grow in my environment. Are you thriving? You are thriving. You flourish and grow in your environment. And I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down in the chat. Today, I started up with having the chat actually up at the beginning, which I like because then we all get to say good morning to each other. So I am thriving. I flourish and grow in my environment. And here we are. Yeah. So there is just so much to thriving. What is it like to what is it like to thrive? And I feel like one of the most important things is that in order to thrive, we have to set up our environment such that we can. It's really important for us. Good morning, Dennis. It's good to see you here too. It is important for us to really plant ourselves in fertile soil. It is difficult to it's difficult for us to thrive if we are in hard scrabble ground. We need to plant ourselves in fertile places. And that starts right up here inside of our heads. That starts by making sure that we are setting ourselves up for success by truly believing that we can do the things that we set out to do. And I chose I chose this vibrant garden with this lovely heart shaped a lovely heart shaped rattan piece of artwork to describe this. Oftentimes, when we think about flourishing, we think about plants. I often hear it in that context. And how do we make a plant flourish? How do we make a plant thrive? Well, we have to set up the environment for it. The plant itself it's gonna grow on its own. My friend Dave actually says that he's like, when we plant a plant, we don't dig it up the next day and yell at it for not growing fast enough. We tend to it carefully and we give it the best possible chance to succeed, but we don't make it grow. We don't make it grow. It grows by itself. It grows organically, and we simply create the environment. So we flourish and grow in our environment. And Brenda Jean, a fantastic point about environmental design. Absolutely. When I was over on Maui, I was chatting with a very famous watercolor painter over there. This guy painted bottles of wine, and that was the thing that he painted. Was he painted pictures of like wine scenes and bar scenes and things like that. But he was a very famous, well-known, well-collected watercolor painter. And I remember chatting with him, and one of the things that he said was the secret to his success. He said, make sure that you always have your environment set up to create. He said, I'm not always inspired, but I always sit down at my easel. He said, I don't always feel like I want to paint, but I always sit down at my easel. My easel is always set up. My brushes are always clean. My paint is always there, because if at 3 o'clock in the morning, I suddenly get this incredible urge to paint, and that's where the really good painting comes from. He says, I don't have to wait for 2 hours to get my space all set up. My space is already set up. And so part of thriving is environmental design. It's setting up our space for success, just like what Brenda Jean says, and allowing us to, allowing us to really lean into the the things that give us the success that we seek. So that's what thriving is about. And we are thriving, and we're flourishing and growing in our environment. I have lived in many places in my life, and when I look back at them, the ones that I did the best at, um, or the places that I really grew in, were places that I had very intentionally set up places for creativity, places for economic activity, places to just accomplish the things that are important to me. So I am thriving. You are thriving. Dennis thrives by surrounding himself by positive and amazing people. And darn right, Dennis, I thrive because I'm surrounded by you. You're super cool energy, and yeah, you are thankful for all the people you have in your life. That's great. Um, Jan, Jan, I love your perspectives always, Jan. You're a magical person, but you say, it's from survival to thrival. How many people are stuck in survival mode? I know I was stuck in survival mode for a really long time because I didn't know that I could thrive, because I wasn't aware, because I had planted myself in a place where I could just barely make it. Using a plant metaphor, I was trying to grow on the top of a mountain with the wind whipping around me, and there wasn't quite enough water, and there was too much sun, and I was trying to thrive in that place, and I just couldn't do it. So it's really important for us to choose our environment. And just like Dennis, for me, choosing my environment meant choosing people. It not necessarily place. Place is very important, but people are so vitally important. We don't accomplish anything alone, at least nothing big. The old proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, is absolutely true here. And as we thrive together, we have to understand that we do it together, that we do it with other people, that there will be other people involved in our personal journeys, other people involved in our spiritual journeys. There will be other people who are involved in our journeys to making our dreams come true, and in the projects that change the world in the way that we want it changed. That involves people. And it's so very important to surround ourselves with the people who are good for us. So we are thriving today. We flourish and grow in our environment. But let's talk about the cards over the week. Like, let's go over the weekly cards, because it is indeed Friday. I won't be back tomorrow on Awesome Saturday, although I'm thinking about running an Awesome Saturday service. So I think that would be a fun thing to do. So I might come on a live and actually like broadcast an Awesome Saturday spiritual service if anybody's interested in watching that. But anyway, we started the week by saying that by affirming that we are hopeful, that we trust in the best possible outcome. And how can we thrive unless we're hopeful? How can we thrive unless we believe in the best possible outcome? If we go through life believing in the worst possible outcomes, then we are going to act as if those are happening. And then how will we meet the right people? How will we say the right things? So, ultimately, we had to have hope at the beginning of this week. We affirmed on Tuesday that we are connected, that we cultivate meaningful relationships. I feel like this week has been a week of cultivating meaningful relationships with me, for me. And just like I was saying, how can we thrive unless we're connected to other people? It's impossible. We can do a lot by ourselves, but we can do so much more when we do it together. I just yesterday I actually went to a county commissioner meeting, and I was watching the way that the meeting was unfolding, and I realized that as we organize as a species, we have to organize that there have to be multiple people who are all lending their strengths to any organized effort. So our connection allows us to thrive. On Wednesday, we affirmed that we are authoritative, that we speak and act with conviction. In fact, we had quite the discussion about the word conviction and what it really means, and even the word authoritative. This is a very powerful card, and the world does not necessarily teach us to be authoritative. The world teaches us to be to defer to the authority of others, and of course there are many good reasons to defer to the authority of others. Like when I was in the courthouse yesterday at this county commissioner meeting, I absolutely deferred to the authority of the sheriff who was guarding the room and making sure that the process remained a safe one and an organized one. So we have to abandon ourselves to the authority of others, but we also need to recognize where we are good and where we are not good, and work on the places that we're not good, but recognize that when we're good at stuff, that we can speak and act with conviction, and that, of course, permits us to thrive because then we're operating in our strengths. On Thursday, we affirmed that we are proactive and that we take initiative to prepare for eventualities. And so, of course, this allows us to thrive. What farmer who plants in winter thrives? None. Farmers who plant at the right time thrive, and farmers who plant at the wrong time do not. And so we take initiative to prepare for eventualities, which permits us to be thriving. Which took us to the Friday card, the Fry-yay card. We are thriving, we flourish, and grow in our environment. Now tomorrow is Awesome Saturday. Awesome Saturday is my Sabbath. I hang out with awesome people in awesome places, doing awesome things, eating awesome food, and I encourage you to do exactly the same as me. So I affirm to you, and we affirm together today that we are awesome and that we recognize our inherent value and worth. And that inherent value and worth is what drives us to intentionally take control of our internal monologue so that we can so that we have the ability to really embody all these traits. So we are awesome, and on Awesome Saturday we are going to celebrate that awesomeness. Anyways, I will return on Sunday at 9 p.m. and we will be going through the cards for next week. Each and every one of these cards is new, and so I don't actually have physical versions of them, but I do have an actual physical deck. And if you're interested in possessing one of these actual physical decks and having these empowering words in your world, then reach out to me and I'll be happy to get you one. Until then, I love you and care about you, and just know that all these things are true in your world and becoming truer. I will talk to you on Sunday at 9 p.m. Until then, thank you so much for coming over here. It's good to see you. It's nice to see you, Grant. It's great to see that you have really come and made a point to be at these. Dennis, I know you in person, and it's great to see that you are here. And I'm grateful to have a positive impact on your life. Brenda Jean, one of my oldest and best friends. Thank you so much for being here. Shauna, you are an amazing collaborator. Lauren, you are just a wonderful, shiny person. Every time that I see you walking around my neighborhood, it makes me happy to see you there. Janet is a magical person. Janet, it's great to see you here. Every time that I see you, I'm reminded that these I Am cards came as an inspiration from you. And I appreciate that so very much. So, Frank, you are an amazing person, amazing collaborator. I know that you have big dreams, and you are really laying the groundwork to accomplish them. Jelly, an awesome person, also. So fun to talk to you. I passed by your house last night and just had a chat with you, and it was just really nice to see you there. And yeah, I think that's everybody who commented. Each and every one of you is special to me. I will talk to you on Sunday at 9 p.m. Aloha from paradise.